I was at Pottery Barn and saw this gorgeous chunky knit blanket. I knew I wanted one for myself, but this one is almost $300. Today I'll show you how to make a chunky knit blanket for much less. These are so cozy and would make a great gift. I'll also share how to make a rope blanket basket. These are just super easy and fun to make, so let's get started with the blanket basket. The basket we're going to make is similar to these that I saw at Pottery Barn. This set of 3 is $229, so even if you split that cost into 3, each one is still around $75. You will need about 20 yards of cotton roped cord. I bought mine on Amazon and I'll link that in the description box below. I got 40 yards and it was around $40, but since you only use 20 yards, it would only be $20. This is really sturdy, thick rope, but it's made of cotton, so it's nice and soft. But it's not so soft that it won't hold its shape. You will need a basket or trash can that you like the size of. I have this Magnolia home blanket basket and I found it at Target. It's the perfect size for blankets. I just clipped some parchment paper into place, and this will protect any hot glue from getting onto your basket template. Make sure the starting edge is taped to prevent fraying, and then start wrapping the rope into a coil while securing with a line of hot glue. This will be our base of the basket. You may want to have something handy like a popsicle stick so you can wipe up any hot glue if it squeezes out of the side. You want to get the glue as hidden as possible. I found that laying the glue down with it sideways worked best. And then I laid it flat while it dried, and that helped make sure it stayed nice and flat. Bugatti came in to visit. I was a little hesitant to let him near a giant ball of rope, but he didn't seem too interested. Once you get this to the size of the bottom of your basket, you can lay it right on the basket and start wrapping up the edges. If you're new to my channel, I want to give you a warm welcome to Artsy Cupcake. My name is Maria and I share crafts and home DIYs. I truly believe that being creative can heal your soul, and it's a great way to practice self-care. Please join our community by hitting that subscribe button. It just takes 1 second to click on it. Then you'll know when I post my weekly inspiration for decorating your home. At some point it may be easier to glue if you flip the basket right side up. When you get the basket to the height you want, add a piece of tape tightly around the edge and then trim the rest of the rope off. You can see I had quite a bit of rope left, so I'll be using that on a future project. Now for the handles. You could use this thick Dollar Tree placemat, or even some vinyl cabinet liner could work. Dollar Tree also has faux leather ribbon, so that's another option. I have some leftover faux leather that we'd use to cover the piano bench, so I'll be using that. I trimmed that piece of leather to the width that I wanted the handle. Then I folded the sides so it would have a nice, smooth, seamless look on the handles. I glued this into place and then I put it under something heavy to help it lay nice and flat. Now these are dark brown, but they're almost black, so I used a black Sharpie here to color the edges a bit so that you couldn't see the raw part of the material. I poked a hole into either side of the strap, and then I inserted a 1/2 inch screw post on either side. I poked holes into the side of the basket and screwed in the handles. Here was the cost for all of our supplies. And here's mine next to the Pottery Barn version. I loved the look of this Pottery Barn blanket, but for $300, that is a lot of money for a blanket. Even the smaller one I spotted at Target was almost $200. All we'll be needing for this project is Lion brand Huge yarn. I bought this ginormous yarn for about $100. I've actually seen this done in a faux fur yarn and I kind of wish I'd picked that one up, but I'm happy with this one because it's really chic looking and it'll go well in my Hamptons themed guest bedroom, which happens to also be Pottery Barn inspired. I'll link this exact yarn in the description box along with that faux fur one. Now I am not a pro at crocheting or knitting. I haven't crocheted except maybe a doily when I was 13 years old. So if you're a beginner or think that this looks complicated, don't worry, it's easier than it looks. I watched some tutorials and will link those below to give them credit. I noticed that I did mine a little different than most of the videos I watched, and I think that has to do with me being left-handed. My grandma was amazing at crocheting and she did blankets and dolls and all kinds of things. She tried to teach me when I was a teenager and I remember she would say that I crocheted backwards. So anyway, I just wanted you to keep that in mind when you're watching, especially if you're right-handed. So you'll start by making a knot at the end of the yarn. Loop that through until you're happy with the length. I wanted a short throw for the end of my guest room bed, which is a queen bed. So if you're standing at the base of a bed, this part will be the left edge of the throw. I was a little short on yarn for it to be as long from left to right as I wanted. So I think if I would have done 8 or 9 loops here, it would have been the perfect amount of yarn. The good thing is this yarn can be easily unlooped if you mess up, so you could go back and fix any mistakes. When you have your chain, start looping through each hole of the chain. When you get to the end, make 2 loops since you'll be starting a new row. go back and forth this way until you get near the end of the yarn. I seemed to get better as I went along, and I was keeping the loops a more consistent size. You kind of get into a rhythm as you go. This blanket is super heavy duty, it weighs a lot, and it'll definitely keep you warm, and you get what you pay for with this huge yarn. Making this blanket has gotten me interested in trying some crocheting and maybe knitting, so I'll have to let you know how that goes when I get back into it. I'm curious if any of you watching crochet or knit, and if so, who did you learn from? This part is called casting off, which just means giving the edge a finished look, and it will keep everything in place. Take the 2 end loops and pull the extra piece of yarn through to create another loop. Repeat all the way across. Then tie a little knot at the end and you can weave any excess yarn through the side. It will hide in there nicely and it'll just make the blanket that much cozier. This was actually really fun to make, and it went a lot faster than I thought it would. Since this is homemade, it would make a great gift for someone. We only paid $100 for the yarn, and that is 1/3 of the cost of the Pottery Barn version, and it looks just as good for way less money. Don't forget to subscribe for more home decor ideas every week. I'll link some more decor ideas for you right over here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a creative day. Bye!